to acknowledge that I try to hear you and I try to see you and not look at it from my standpoint.
I became somebody's mama.
Yeah.
And that's where...
It was 3 years.
Yeah, she's about to be 4.
Yeah.
Now that we all got the math.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode, or the new episode of the August Love Story podcast. I'm your host, Tommy T.
My name is Artieka.
She's my beautiful wife. She's trying to sound all innocent, and she was just going off on me.
I did not go off on you.
5 to 10 minutes ago. You definitely told me to stop talking to you about whatever we was talking about. So I don't want to hear that.
This is not going off. That is literally boundary.
Okay, whatever, dog. Today's episode, we're talking about maintaining your individuality. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't say that word right, but just maintaining yourself, being yourself in a relationship, and what it takes, and what steps we've taken, or if we've done it, because I think we're doing a horrible job at that. But we'll get into that. But before we do, please like, share, and comment. If you're watching it on YouTube, if you're listening to us, please give us raters, give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us on the podcast. So let's jump right into it, man. First, our relationship card. We always do this at the beginning of our at the beginning of our episodes. Let me get that right. At the beginning of the episodes, we always do a relationship card.
Conversation card. These just happen to be for couples, although I think I'm going to get a new set that are not for couples.
Yeah, just random stuff. That'll be cool. But what we got today?
So today's question is, what was a time in your life when you had to be brave? In what ways do you see courage in me?
A time that I had to be brave.
You want me to give mine first?
Yeah, because I can't.
When I was robbed at gunpoint.
Yeah.
That was like the very first thing that stuck out as I had to be brave, because there is a man with a gun in my back for some stuff that's not even mine.
Yeah.
Like,
you can have this stuff.
It's not even mine.
Right.
So it wasn't like I was going to fight you. Granted, if it was mine, I still wasn't going to fight you. But I'm really not going to fight you over some stuff that's not mine. So that was probably the moment that I had to be the most brave. And the second question was, in what ways do you see courage in me?
So how you see courage in me?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I like to hear this.
I don't know if this is necessarily courage, but you do have an unwillingness to back down.
I don't know if that's courage or not.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's courage.
That's hard to say.
But it's an unwillingness to back down. It does take courage to be unwilling to stand firm in whatever your belief is.
If you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Quote it.
Anyways, your unwillingness to back down, I'm going to take that as being one and the same as courage.
That's fair. This question is kind of hard for me because it's not a sense of being brave, right? You have to, I think, everyday living, going outside of your box qualifies as brave. You know, going outside, going to work is brave. You know, doing the right thing is a very brave thing, because it's so easy to do the wrong thing. You know, it's so easy to cut a corner, but it's hard to say, okay, I know this is going to take me time to do, or I know this is going to be extra work for myself, but I'm going to do it. You know, so just being a believer in yourself is a brave thing. I think I put it to you like this: one of the most brave things that I've done is got on, like, started a podcast and did YouTube and conquer my fear of talking in front of people, because I don't like to write because I don't think I write well, but I also...
Funny you should say that with this AI generated stuff you've been doing the last 2 weeks.
And I claim it. It's mine. I am not trying to write for school.
It is yours and the robots.
Me and the AI came up with it.
Not Iverson.
But it's that thing of being brave. I think for people, like, anytime you're doing anything that's gonna cause you to do the right thing, what the right thing is, that's bravery.
Right.
And so that's why it's hard for me, because it's like I choose to do the right thing as much as possible. Right? I'm not perfect, but I choose to do what I think is right every day. And in hopes of that keeps me moving forward, going forward, and growing, and being a great mentor, role model, and parent, all my roles. So the thing I see in you is your courage stands where you've had enough. Like, it's like your fuse is so small, right? Like, you have a very small fuse.
That's rude, but okay.
No, you know it.
Yeah.
You know it, and I know it.
Sure.
But your fuse is very small. But, like, I understand dealing with me is difficult. It's a challenge dealing with me. I understand that.
That Erica had to witness it, so she knew that I needed help.
No, I get that part, but it's like it takes courage for you to just stand up and keep going in what you're going in. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day hasn't been perfect for you, and to acknowledge that, I try to hear you and I try to see you and not look at it from my standpoint. Right? It doesn't work out always. A lot of times it doesn't work out that way.
Boy, doesn't it?
But it's like I try. And, to keep rocking and rolling with me, man, it takes courage. Shit. It takes courage to do that. So I that's what I see in you, And then that situation that happened when you was being robbed at the store, that took a lot. A lot of people can't say that they've been in a situation like that.
And I wouldn't want people to be in a situation like that. I don't want anybody to be
in a situation like that.
The crazy thing is the person that I was in the situation with, we don't talk regularly now, but, like, I hate that it's a trauma bond, but, like, we're absolutely bonded to each other.
Yeah.
For life because of that. Yeah. Like, she actually called me a couple of weeks ago about something totally unrelated, but it's just like, this is one thing that I never want to have to go through again. And the person that I went through it with is basically, like, stuck with me for life for that reason. Yeah. Like, for that reason alone.
No, I hear that. So, maintaining our individual selves while we're working as this team, this marriage. That was one of the things that I told you, like, right in the beginning. Like, we were on the early part. Like, we've been married in August. It'd be 7 years, right?
Why you say August like that?
Because there it is, August love story.
Okay.
Like, but in 7 years, and so the beginning of our relationship, I've always talked about not wanting to lose yourself in the relationship. I still want to be Tommy, and I still want you to be Artieka, but together we're the Townsends. We're a team. Right? So, for me, it hasn't been hard. to maintain my individual self. But I don't know or can't say if it's been hard for you.
In marriage, no, it wasn't hard. Just you and I, right? But then around the 3-year mark, I became somebody's mama.
Yeah.
And that's where...
It was 3 years?
Yeah, she's about to be 4.
Yeah.
Now that we all got the math. About 3 years in, I became somebody's mama, and that added the I don't want to say the new layer, but it is a new layer, and that's where it becomes difficult to be an individual, because once you become a parent, people are always like, where that baby? When they see you. Or how that baby doing? And you be like, hey, I'm here too.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you unless you do something like huge and astronomical.
Yeah.
And you're like, every day can't be buying a house, getting a new job, flying to Italy.
Yeah.
Like, some days all I did today was woke up and made breakfast, and I would like to be acknowledged for that.
Some days that's the best.
And it's not even,
that's what it is.
And it's not even like you're looking at it from a standpoint of, I just want to be able to have a bad day, because it's not like you're saying when I got up today and like making breakfast made it a bad day. It's just, can I just have an average day and get to be myself? Like, the kids get to be themselves without doing anything. And people still be like, well, how that baby doing?
Why do you think it's important? I don't think we ever talked about that, because like I didn't have an answer for it.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Why do you think it's important to keep yourself as an individual, or to maintain some type of individuality?
Because you are 100% yourself. Everything else could disappear, right? Like, I hate when people say, God forbid you could die, because we're all going to die. So it's not like a God forbid you die.
Right.
It's, I don't want you to die now.
Right.
But it's like, at some point, you will be left as an individual, right? Your kids are going to move on, like, have their own families and all those things. And when you are left by yourself, you should still be able to have interests and function, right?
Yeah.
I remember reading this story. It was a quick little blurb about this lady who, when she passed away, in her obituary, nothing was about her.
Yeah.
Everything was about how she supported her kids, supported her husband, supported her church. Like, she didn't work.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was directly, I don't remember her name, but like, say her name was Susan.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was like, Susan like to knit, Susan like to garden. It was like, Susan supported her daughter and always served as a parent with the track team and all these things. Like, it was nothing that you could learn about Susan the individual from reading her obituary.
Yeah.
All you know is that Susan had kids and a husband, and she gave her life to them.
Yeah.
Nothing about what Susan wanted.
Right. Nah, I think, like, when you hear about it, right? It's like you said earlier, it's easier when it's just you and me. You add the kids on, it's our roles completely changed. Now it gets easier to forget about just you and me, because now we have a life to take care of that 100% of the time is dependent upon us. Right? And it's pressure there from both sides. You know, as a dad, there's pressure. As a mom, there's a pressure, you know, but as a husband and wife, that kind of takes a back seat to mom and dad. And it's easy because it happened to us. You know, it was a time where we wasn't doing the podcast. You know, we was only doing Married at First Sight. We'd sit down.
You mean last week?
Right. No, but it was an unconscious thing, like, right? Because like we have these podcasts, it's just me and you. We talk. And we're able to talk about things that we should talk about, you know? So this is kind of like therapy to me and you to get the conversation that we need to have out, you know? But when we wasn't doing the podcast, we was just doing Married at First Sight. And that's the only time us sit down and talk to each other. Any other time, we're mom and dad. And so just seeing that part, and it's like, your complaint, one of your complaints about me was I always have time to take that break. Take a break somewhere, and for me, that's I get to go do whatever, X, Y, and Z. I get to go hang out with friends. I get to go build this. I get to go figure this out, or you know, whatever that is. But the way I'm looking at it is, well, I have to go do these things because if I don't, we're gonna sit in a box, and it's like I don't want to just sit in this box.
Are you referring to the house as a box?
No. I'm saying it's like I don't have any growth anywhere. And I'm constantly trying to grow, trying to get better, trying to do something. And I guess that's me keeping that individuality, but it's also me thinking about how do I make life better for my kids? Again, it's not thinking about you and I, but thinking about the family. How do I make it better so my wife is not concerned about a lot more things, you know? That's the thing that I think about. And that's why, for me, it's like my individuality is, okay, I'm going to go figure out how to do this. Or I'm going to go figure out how to do this. Or I'm going to go read this. And like I'm constantly learning a new skill to put it in my repertoire of things that I can possibly earn more for my family. Like, I'm the workhorse, you know? And until, like, everybody can come in and put their money together or their earnings together and skills together and we create something big.
Your kid's about to get a YouTube channel or something.
But that's the thing. So it's like the individual part of being in a relationship or being married is important because it keeps you who you are. It keeps some sort of resemblance of you throughout your growth. It actually helps form your growth. But on the flip, is your individuality fueled by what you would be fueled by when you were single? Or is it fueled, like in my case, it's fueled by wanting more from my family and wanting more access to things for my family?
I don't look at my individuality as being fuel, for lack of better words. I just think that it's something that I enjoy, like things that I enjoy doing. Like, I am a creative, right? I enjoy creating things. I
just don't like when you create things and it in turn like involves me. Like it like the result. Like one time you was like, anyway, go ahead.
So I enjoy creating things. I find things that other people do or something that I'm interested in learning to do. And I try to essentially do everything that I can to get that skill set together. Like 2020, it was balloons. I wanted to learn how to make balloon garlands. I was like, they can't be that difficult. I have an obsessive nature. I watched every YouTube video I could find of somebody trying to teach me this. This year, it actually started in 2022, but it had to spill over into this year because it was the skill set for this garden season, was learning things about the garden. Like, and it's so amazing because I started posting these random reels online and now everybody associates gardens with me. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, thanks for sending me this. However, not really my jam. Right. Because people are sending stuff that I'm like, I don't care about any of this stuff that you got to say. Like, that ain't what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Trying to be as natural and pesticide free as possible while being able to take my babies, mostly my big baby, outside and letting her eat from her yard, right? Mm-hmm. But with me going through these things, I don't really consider gardening to be like a part of me, although I get that it looks that way. I think that it is something that I learned, or I'm learning because I'm still learning so much. But I ain't trying to have a TV show or anything doing gardening.
Right.
It interests me, but I don't think that it is part of my core. I think the creating part, like the watching something turn from something else, like from a seed to a plant that has fruited. Yeah. That's the interest that I have. Like, if you could take that and put it into something else and I still get the same type of results, I'm with it. But like gardening is just a part of it. So going back to, I can't remember what the original question was. You don't remember either.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead. You don't remember it either?
I do.
What is it?
It was, I don't remember.
Nope, you ain't got it.
I ain't got it.
The importance of being the individual is, for me, being able to have something that is just yours and yours alone as an interest. Yeah. However, it's gotten to the point where most of my interests I'm sharing with someone in my house. Gardening, I teach you things along the way. Like, me and these beetles been fighting outside, and I've been trying to like teach you the difference between these beetles and a ladybug. Yeah. Like, what's good, what's bad? What is this bug? Is it growing? Do we need to release some ladybugs in the garden to eat them? Just learning those different things and being able to regurgitate that information out in a way that a person can understand it. Yeah. And even something as simple as like the balloons. Lily loves balloons. Yeah. She thinks they're the most fun. Yeah. Watching these kids at our family reunion play with a balloon for hours on end, I'm like, this was the best $7 we spent.
Right. Nah, it's it's crazy that you bring up the gardening thing, just because it's like when we first started, I just bought that off of we can do this and figure it out. But now you're more so, it's the different parts of it. Mm-hmm. Like, if you looked at our garden and you really broke down the parts of it, you could see where you did what you did and where I did what I did.
You were my workhorse, for lack of better words. Yeah. I'm like, I need a bed. Build it.
Got it.
I need some dirt. I'm not going to carry it. Can you get it out of the car?
I got it.
And then, like, we get to the seedling stage. It was
I'm
like
your sugar daddy too, because I paid for it all.
You did. We get to the seedling stage, and I'm like, I can take it from here, boss.
But even in that stage, it's like, hey, you need to water this, or I buy the little piece. Hey, water the dirt, and all that stuff. But it's what I like or what I see in you. And this is one of the reasons why I enjoyed you so much.
You enjoy me?
Oh, I always enjoy you, except the times that I don't.
Because I'm fun.
Right, because you're fun. You used to laugh a lot more, but now these kids.
I have a slight case of put that down in the middle of every sentence.
But no, it's like the joy is to see you not know something and then a few days later you figured it out, because I'm that way. And I'm going to sit there, figure it out. And then I can't wait to tell you.
Speaking of that, I laugh at myself so much because I was watching all these people's like gardening videos from like 2 years ago, like essentially the month that we were in. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I need to know everything that you need to do to prepare for a garden that you're going to plant in April, and it's February. All right, found this person who made a video February of 2020. Let's watch. Yeah. Because they would be talking about exactly what needs to be done. Right. And I'm not looking at these people who are established already, and I'm missing stuff. But I went off the deep end a lot of nights. Like, it would be a lot of nights that I would just be in the bed, writing out companion plants in a journal. I was writing out stuff, and I was like, why am I even wanting to grow this? We're not going to eat this.
We ain't going to eat this at all.
I'm not going to lie to you. Right now, we have, 9 tomato plants in our garden? Tell me and I don't eat tomatoes. I was
gonna say, nobody likes tomatoes.
Like, we eat tomato-based products, which is why I was like, we'll go ahead and grow these tomatoes. I just wasn't expecting all those tomatoes to survive. Yeah. But it's been an interesting journey to be on because it does fuel my desire to learn. Yeah. Like, I've always enjoyed learning. I think my issue was what I was learning. Yeah. So I sat down and talked to our cousin who is doing an internship this summer with tomato plants. Yeah. And he was like, man, I haven't germinated any myself yet. We just been doing the studies on these plants. So he was like, I'm going to start germinating them. I was like, you can come over here next growing season and we can like do this. Yeah. Yeah. And he was like, I'm going to take you up on the offer. Like, come on.
Right.
Because it's interesting, and he's got more knowledge of it from a scientific standpoint of a control versus him testing out different variables. Yeah. And I'm just like, I got fertilizer and I got some dirt.
Yeah.
You ready to do this?
It's that part. You know what I'm saying? I'm committed, I'm finna do this thing. That's Artieka. Like, it's one to know yourself, but it's another to know your mate. You know, and that's the thing. It makes me smile. It makes my heart jump, skip a beat, as they say. You know, not too many beats.
Don't be having a heart attack.
Right. But it makes me happy to see joy because a lot of times it's mom, it's wife, it's sister. It's never Artieka, you know, and to see, oh, there's Artieka. That's the beauty in everything, you know, because the way that you hold down your roles, I think you do a great job. Sometimes I think you like, hey, man, just try, you know.
Sometimes I just want to try to go to sleep.
Yeah, I get that. But it's like, you know, you get to see that. You get to see Artieka. Oh, I see Tommy. Oh, I see Artieka. You know, in things that we're doing, you know. Like for me, like this set is going to change.
A lot.
You're going to look at it one week and be like, oh, yeah, never noticed it. And then the next week it's going to look completely different.
The interesting thing about that is that I would think that people would assume that that's me.
I would too.
Because it's funny when you walk into our home and you see like the entryway table, the art on the wall, people automatically assume I picked it out. I'm like,
nope. The table.
The only thing that I was able to pick out was the pot that my plant went in.
And it's interesting because I never was a person to actually hang stuff on the walls or anything like that. But here's like, well, let me just see what this looks like. You know, I'm more so of a person that if it sounds good, it looks good, it gotta be good. Like I want to have the best yard on the street, you know. I want people to come in and feel like as you're watching this YouTube video and listening to our podcast, I want you to hear or feel or see that you're in the living room with us, having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because those things, to me, are an important thing. Like, me getting into audio, it just made sense. You know? Me getting into, like, I just enjoy recording things. You know, I enjoy the editing part and then to go back and look at it. I like to go back and look at it and stand off and be like, yeah, I did that. You know, but it gives me that satisfaction.
Then you be like, did you watch this? Absolutely not.
Right. Did you listen to?
I'd be like, I am done.
Right. But
I recorded it, didn't I?
I know what we said. But no, it's like just the beauty of our finished product. You know, that's for me, that's the thing that I enjoy, because I didn't go to school for this. I didn't. I literally.
I did.
Right. That's the crazy part. You did. But I literally, for the audio part, I learned so much by volunteering at church. You know, for the camera part, just literally YouTube. Hey, I got to figure out what makes this look like the video that I'm looking at. You know, but that's the individual in me, which in turn, it's like, I want to set up this, I want to set up that, I want to set up this, I want to set up that, just so my kids have something to fall back on. Because those are the things that I didn't have. You know, those are the things that, not going to say my parents didn't think about, but it wasn't a thing that was that they passed down to me to say, hey, this is an option for you. Or anything like that. But for my kids, I want to be able to say, hey, 3 Media is an option for you. Accounting is an option for you. We get the CPA firm open. It's an option for you. Go out and do what you want to do.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. And I understand that aspect of it, because I look at like my stepdad, who has essentially started my brother's business just because my brother worked for him, and got to the point where he was like, I can't do these jobs for this much money anymore. You can have them. And so my brother can make just as much on the side as he makes from his full-time job. And he does.
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you?
So it works out for him. I guess I just never thought about, I've always thought about what can you give your kids? And my biggest thing, especially with them being really, really small right now, is I can give them a full and present parent. Like, one of the things that, and this takes away from the individuality, it goes back to being mom, is when I was registering Lily for preschool, I filled out the volunteer paperwork for PTA, which I still haven't turned in yet, but that's another reason that I haven't turned it in. It's like, what y'all looking from me as a commitment?
What y'all need?
Like, I know what I can do, but I don't want y'all to try to push me further than what I can do.
Yeah.
But like, even just going through the stuff, like Lily, her class is going to have parents donate snacks and juice. I really would like for her, like, at the end of this year to be like, every time Lily mama gave snacks, they was the good snacks.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a reflection on me as an individual, but it's a reflection on Lily's mom's commitment to what is going on.
Yeah.
So you take the individual in you, but that individual always has to evolve. And sometimes, like when we were, like before we had kids and then we were at church, I was Tommy's wife.
Yeah.
Like, I know Bishop didn't know my name.
Yeah.
He knew my last name.
Yeah.
He knew my baby's name. Yeah. But I was Tommy's wife and Lily's mama. And he had my last name down, but
it's crazy that it's like that for women, because it's completely different for men. Like the expectation is to provide. The expectation is to be present in the home and in the family. But for men, it's everything. Like, and I'm talking for myself. I can't really speak on it for other men, but for myself, it's like everything that I'm doing or trying to do is to better myself, to be a better husband, father, friend, whatever other role that I have, male, son, mentor.
I was like, perhaps.
Yeah. Whatever else in the world. You know, just because it's like, I understand it's about what you know and who you know. But how can you apply the things that you've learned? And for me, it's learning more about the things that I'm trying to do. But I've always been that way. You know, so it's much easier for me to do that than it is for, and not taking away from women or parenting itself, because the way I parent is, let me show you what I'm doing. Or I'm sitting here learning how to do something while the kids are right here playing, you know, around me. But I'm continuously moving forward, continuously like getting better at my skills, you know, so.
The individual in me doesn't like to balance kids and what I'm trying to learn. I'd be like, everybody go lay down.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, that's the difference. That's the key difference. It's like, I've always had to balance things.
I don't like it.
Right. It's not a case of liking it. It's just a case of how things were for me.
If I don't like it, I ain't gonna do it.
I get you. But anyway, man, we discussed the being individual. I want to ask you one last thing about individuality. We talked about our struggles with it. What are things that you've consciously done to make sure that you're checking in with Artieka?
One of the things that, and I was actually talking to somebody on Facebook about this recently, is I stay up late, an ungodly hour of late, just to make sure that I have a moment to myself.
Yeah.
Right? If I can swing it in on a go to bed early and get up a little bit earlier, I try to, but I think that the children have figured this out and they're like, you will not get to be alone on my watch. So they get up earlier. Yeah. Which I'm worried about when Lily gets back home.
Yeah.
But I try to stay up later. I try to write out things that I want to do. Like I bought a journal for the year 36 that I need to write in a little bit more. But I write out things that I want to do, things that I want to come to pass. Sometimes it's just my to-do list for the day, but I try to make sure that that's my time, that I am not worried about being somebody's mom or somebody's wife, somebody's daughter, somebody's friend. It is just literally, these are the things that I need to get done. And one of the things that it has sparked, weirdly, is 3 a.m. conversations with my best friend. Like, I don't know why he's up. But that's another story for another day. But I'll text him random things that I'm thinking about trying. And just kind of use him as a sounding board for what I'm working towards. And then I can kind of flush out my ideas a little bit better, because I had a business. It kind of took a break and I'm trying to figure out my way back in. Yeah. And I know that it can be lucrative. I know that we can make some great money off of it because we have in the past, but just trying to figure all of those factors out. What is my new, I don't even want to say purpose in it, but what's my new plan for it? Just trying to flush out all those ideas and be able to do them as not somebody's mama, not somebody's wife.
Well, that's Artieka.
Yeah, and not have to think about what are my kids going to take away from this, or what is Tommy going to think about this, because ultimately neither one of y'all matter in what I'm working towards.
Right. Nah, I get it.
Because hey, as long as you ain't doing nothing illegal, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So just trying to get that back. I wish that I could, and I'm working towards this as well, rearranging my work schedule to fit that.
Yeah.
So that I have the time with the kids, but I also have the time by myself.
Yeah. And with me. But that's another story.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what my Tommy check-in is, but I always feel like I'm individual enough.
Because you get to be.
Right. Like, like I feel like I have those moments where I'm doing things that nobody else can or will do. Like, I cut the grass.
Mm-hmm.
You're not finna get out here and cut the grass.
You're absolutely correct.
You know, or like building things. Like, I get out there, put my headphones on, and I build.
Mm-hmm.
You're not finna do it. You know,
might.
You might, but majority, like, you haven't.
Correct.
You know, so it's like I get those moments. You know, so and not saying that dads or males in the situation are allotted those moments. I just think more things are dependent upon the mom
in
physicality.
Mm-hmm.
But I think dads, or in our case, more things are dependent upon me for like the intangible things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and for me, balancing things are much easier than it is for you. And that's just me understanding who you are.
It's because you're doing physical balancing and I'm doing mental Olympics.
Right, but I tell you now, I have a lot of mental capacity up here.
Most of yours is self.
Like, I have a lot of mental capacity up here.
You don't put a lot of stuff in there that doesn't necessarily belong.
Yeah, it's definitely the fat is cut. You know, I don't have a lot of fat in there. But it's a lot of capacity in there.
Anyways.
Sometimes I'll be like, man, I just gotta stop.
As you should.
And do. So, but what's our quote for our lyrics for the episode?
I've probably done this song before.
Probably,
but I picked 2 Chainz.
But you didn't do it today.
I'm different. It says,
you did do
2
that song.
Chainz got your girl on the silly, and when I get off the silly, I made her meet at the telly. When she meets at the telly, I put it straight in her belly. When it go in her belly, it ain't, you can tell me. Hair long, money long.
Head broke. Anyway, hey, that's our episode for today. Thank you once again for listening to an August Love Story podcast. Just remember, check in with yourself, man. Just with your spouse, check in with your spouse. Check in with yourself. Just make sure that you're being that individual that you need to be, because we all understand our roles in our relationships, but we also need to understand ourselves as well as, and understand the growth that we've gone through. Mm-hmm. So always remember that. If you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, go ahead and like, share, and comment down below. Let us know how you check in with yourself. And keep the relationship and understand your individuality in the relationship. Also, if you're just listening to us on wherever you listen to podcasts, rate us. Give us a 5-star rating.
Share with a friend.
Share with a friend. And join the YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at August Love Story. And see you guys next time.
Bye.
Peace.